Okay, so let's dive in. Today we're looking at something really quite unique. The Louis Erard X Konstantin Chaykin Time Eater Tourbillon. We're pulling from an article that really details this whole collaboration. And our mission really is to show you how this isn't just a watch, right? It's almost like a character itself. It kind of blurs the lines between watchmaking and, well, art.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
What's so fascinating, I think, is how it manages to marry really serious horological craft
Yeah.
with this incredibly distinctive, you call it a character, this almost anthropomorphic design. It stands out.
It really
I mean, in a market that often leans quite traditional.
Mm.
Chaikin and Rard, they're kind of proving that high horology can also be profoundly expressive. It really challenges that whole idea of what serious watchmaking needs to look like.
Yeah, it feels like maybe a shift where personality is just as valued as the precision inside.
Could be. Could very well be.
And it feels like a significant step forward, too. I mean, this watch isn't just a one-off idea, is it? It marks a new chapter, really, in the partnership between Louis Erard, the Swiss indie brand, and Konstantin Chaykin, the master watchmaker.
It builds on the success they had with the previous Time Eater Regulator models,
Right.
from Chaikin's expressive Wristmons universe.
Right, the Wristmons. But, thinking about traditional watch folks, is there a risk here? Does such a, well, expressive design maybe overshadow the craft or even put off some people in the luxury market?
That's a fair point. But what's really key here, I think, is how they've done it. With this new model, they've specifically brought in a tourbillon, that amazing rotating cage, anti-gravity tech.
Right, the pinnacle of complexity.
Exactly. And they've paired it with a regulator display. Now, a regulator display that separates the hands hours, minutes, seconds onto different points on the dial. It's a very distinct way to read time.
And that's a Louis Erard thing, isn't it?
Yes, exactly. That's a classic element from Erard's collections.
Yeah.
So they're actually boosting its horological street cred, if you like, while keeping Chaikin's totally unique design. It's bold, sure, but I think it expands the appeal, doesn't really shrink it.
Okay. Let's talk about that design then, because when you first see this watch, that Wristmon face just jumps out at you. Impossible to ignore. You've got this silver-toned lower plate, right, with that kind of sunburst wave pattern.
Beautiful finish. And then above it, that anthracite circular hour flange, satin finished.
And the eye, that single central eye, which is actually the hour indicator right there at 12.
Super clever.
Yeah.
And then down at 6 o'clock, you get that wide-toothed mouth. There's a red flange around the tourbillon itself, and it has these teeth-like markers. It's a very deliberate nod to the Time Eater name.
Okay. Makes sense.
And inside the mouth, there's a little red tongue that spins around to mark the seconds. It really is, you could call it playful, yet controlled chaos.
Yeah.
And the central minute hand is framed by this colored track, green for the Louis Erard edition we're seeing in the article.
Okay.
Or blue for the Chaikin edition.
It almost makes you want to see it animate, doesn't it? Like it's about to, I don't know, blink or gobble up the minutes. It's that mix of like whimsy and serious engineering that really gets me. But underneath it all, and the article really stressed this, is the serious watchmaking. How does that tourbillon fit in?
Well, that's the interesting part, isn't it? It forces you to sort of rethink how art and engineering can play together. The tourbillon, usually a very conservative symbol of high watchmaking, here becomes like part of the face. It shows how top-tier technical skill can actually serve a really whimsical vision.
And the engine behind it.
Right. It's powered by the BCP TO2 caliber, manual winding tourbillon, developed by Olivier Maury, a movement specialist. And technically, you're looking at a 100-hour power reserve.
Wow, that's over 4 days.
Yeah, pretty significant for a complex piece like this. Runs at 21,600 vibrations per hour, and you can see it all working through the sapphire case back, which is also engraved, with the limited edition number, and it has a nice circular Côte de Genève decoration. Fine finishing.
And the case itself, it looks solid.
Oh, yeah. Polished stainless steel, 42 millimeters across, about 12.25 thick, dome sapphire crystal on top.
Okay.
And it's got Chaikin's signature crown design. Plus, it's rated to 50 meters water resistant, so it's actually quite practical for, daily wear, despite being such an art piece.
Right, not just a safe queen.
Exactly. And speaking of art pieces, it's very exclusive. 2 limited editions. The Louis Erard 1 green minute ring, the one in the article photos, that's just 78 pieces.
78 worldwide, okay.
And the Chaikin edition with the blue ring is even rarer, only 28 pieces, and sold exclusively through Chaikin. The Louis Erard version comes on this black-toed leather strap. Interesting texture with green stitching, rabbit leather lining. Quick release bars, too, which is handy. Polished steel buckle.
Okay, toed leather, that's different. And the
The
price?
price for the Louis Erard version is listed at CHF 19,900, that's Swiss francs, excluding tax.
So just under 20,000 Swiss francs, a serious price tag. But I suppose for something this unique, limited to 78 pieces, it's really a collector statement, isn't it? Not just a timekeeper.
Absolutely, it carves out its own little niche.
Yeah. So this whole deep dive, it really shows a watch that's this amazing blend of high art and really serious, precise watchmaking.
hmm And if you step back and think about the bigger picture, the luxury world, this Time Eater Tourbillon kind of makes you ask, in a world that feels increasingly standardized, maybe a bit predictable sometimes, how much do we actually value personal expression? How much do we value surprise, in these objects of precision and luxury? Is this just a cool, quirky phase or maybe a new direction?
That's a great question. And maybe something for you, the listener, to think about as you consider how things are made, how they're presented. What kind of mix between the traditional, the expected, and the truly unique, the surprising, what blend do you find most compelling? Something to mull over.